hopefully. Hey guys, it's Ted Bogert. We are back with the TED Show. One of my favorite days of the year, Veterans Day. We can salute and celebrate those amazing heroes that have served our country, continue to serve our country. I'm always blessed and honored to have my friends on who have done just that. And so we thought we would bring everybody a show where we kind of educate people a little bit on service, see what people are doing, and see how we can support our veterans. And so I have a lovely panel of 8 people, maybe 9, friends of mine that are just doing rock and roll stuff in the community and the world. But they all have a story, and it all involves our military. So everyone, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. We have Richter, Bryan Warner, Ernie Plaza, Roberto Cardona, Bonnie Coakley, Eileen Winfrey, Bryan Jacobs, and Jose Belen. Welcome, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very excited to have you guys on here. Thank you for taking time out. So Veterans Day is so interesting to me because I think a lot of people get confused. What's Veterans Day mean? What are we celebrating? Are we celebrating our active duty? Or are we just celebrating people who are no longer active duty? And so I just want to celebrate you all, no matter what phase of life you're in. But all of you are obviously veterans. You are no longer in the military. So I'm going to start with ladies first. What I'd like to do is for you guys just to introduce yourself and then tell us a little bit about your service and then what you do. I think it's important for people to know. I think we have a lot of vets out there who try to make a transition out of service into civilian life, and it can be a challenge. And so it's always good to show them that people are out successful and figured out how to adapt to the crazy civilian world. So I'm going to start with Bonnie Coakley. Welcome, Bonnie. Tell us about you.
Well, thank you very much for having me. And I've, gosh, what a long story. But I went into the Air Force right after college, and it wasn't so much nobility or my desire to serve at that time, even though it was a family business. My dad was in the Air Force for 30 years. But at that time, I just wanted to travel, and I traveled. So it was that self-serving, boy, I can travel a lot and see the world. But it's amazing how that notion became something more. And anytime you serve, whether it's in the military or volunteering or community service, that type of thing, anytime you serve and you become a part of something bigger than yourself, it changes you. It changed me forever. So when people think, that you really can't change, I became a different person. I went from being a, fun and happy-go-lucky partying college student to similar in the military, but that didn't change that much. But it really does. It shaped who I am now, and I wouldn't have passed up that experience for the world.
And what do you do now?
Now I'm a realtor with ERA Grizzard Real Estate, and I love it. And I've had a lot of different, iterations of my life, but I use each one in every job that I have. And I think being in the Air Force solidified how I was going to work, and it prepares you very well for working nights, holidays, weekends, and having no set schedule and being at the call of other people. So I think the career field has been great, and I just love everything about it.
Fantastic. Thank you for your service. All right, Ricky, you're up. Tell us about you.
Let's let Eileen go. I want to hear her story.
Oh, look, I'm getting orders already.
The other ladies first.
It's just normal for him.
Who's going? All right, Eileen, you go. We'll have Eileen go.
See, at least Ricky remembered I was here.
Listen,
So
I remembered.
So my name's Eileen Winfrey, and I was also in the Air Force, like Bonnie, and that was a long, long time ago in the 80s. So, we won't discuss that specifically.
You were 4 when you joined.
What was that? Yes, I was 4. Well, if you look at my picture I put on Facebook today, I look like I'm 12. So we'll just go with it. So I think that was also one of the reasons when I look back and I thought, I'm going to join the Air Force because, of course, I can see the world. Remember when your recruiters were telling you those things? And which I did. And I also was in a career field that most people never guess. And that was because of my recruiter as well. I don't know what he was thinking and why I agreed, but I was an SP. So for those of you that know the Air Force, it's our military police. And I wanted to go to Hawaii. So obviously, remember when they'd say, like, what are the 3 places you want to go when you get out of your training? So of course, Hawaii is my first, and all of us basically got sent to Germany because that was when all of the bombings were going on at the clubs in Germany. So we were working 12-hour shifts, and we're carrying our M16s everywhere and our 38s and hoping we weren't going to get blown up. So that's how my travel experience.
You with an M16 scares me a little bit, which is why I don't mess with you
And
ever.
I used to be an expert on that thing. I have no idea how.
Remind me not to make you mad.
Well, yes, we do discuss that often. So that's how I started in the service. And I still have many friends that are in the service today that I talk with, that I served with. And I love working with my clients that are vets and currently in the military. And I'm also a real estate agent, and I have my own brokerage. It's called the Real Estate Store. So that's where I came from.
Love it. Thank you for your service and that story. And every time you tell that, I always remember that I cannot mess with you.
Yes, absolutely. Remember.
All right, Ricky, come on. I'm going to make
What's
you
up?
third then if you didn't want to be second.
That's fine. So my recruiter didn't tell me I get to go travel to lavish places. I was a Marine. I was a MARSOC operator with 1st Marine Special Operations Battalion. My story was kind of simple. I was a knucklehead. I grew up in San Diego, California, in and out of gangs and stuff. So I just decided I'm going to go in the Marine Corps. Well, first I went to the Army, and I'm sure somebody here's Army, so I'm not going to say how I felt about them. But I went from next door was the Navy, and I walked by and I was like, there's no way that's happening. And then I went in the Marine Corps, and he literally goes, "What the F do you want?" I said, "I like this guy." So went in the Marine Corps, did the special operations thing, went to Afghanistan 2010. We did the initial push into Marja and Sangin, got blown up in medevac, medically retired in 2013. And I wish I was still there. That's the one place where I actually felt whole. So
thank you for sharing that, because I think that's also something that we civilians don't understand, that you all carry your experience, whatever that was with you. And if you haven't experienced that, the only place a lot of people, veterans, military, feel safe is with other people who have experienced something similar. Absolutely. Which is why the transition out to civilian life can be so difficult, because the structure and the brotherhood and sisterhood that you guys have, I know from talking to many, many veterans, it's unmatched out in civilian world. It's just different. Oh, yeah. What do you do now, Ricky?
So I was working with Wounded Warrior Project, and now I'm trying to pass this damn MLO test. Man, this thing is just, I have never failed a test my entire life, and this thing is just like gibberish to me. So I'm trying to do that so I can get into the real estate game as well. It's funny, when I first met Ted, I had no interest in real estate at all. I was actually doing marketing and some other things with the National Hockey League. And here I am, some years later, knocking on his door, like, "Hey, Ted, can you help me out?"
Man, it all comes back, brother.
Right.
Real estate is like this really cool, encompassing thing.
Right.
Well, thank you for your service, and thank you for sharing that. I think it's important for people to hear. Bryan, you're up. Tell us about you, Bryan Warner, and your wife has already come on and said thank you all for your military service.
Well, thank you for having me here today, Ted. I'm a veteran of the U.S. Navy. I actually went through basic training right here in Orlando in 1986. And I entered into nuclear power school. So does anybody remember the Navy base here in Orlando?
I do. Absolutely.
A couple of you here, right? Well, I continue to serve today by volunteering, and guess what? I'm a realtor as well. We've got a plethora of realtors here today. So I established our real estate company in May of 2012, and at the same time, Michael Waldrop and I started the Florida Association of Veteran-Owned Businesses. You haven't heard about that. It's a great group that's really getting larger and larger here in Orlando. But I'm not going to talk about FAVOB. That's a whole nother show in itself.
I love that organization. I love it. It's awesome.
I'm the incoming chair to the Orlando Regional Realtor Foundation. That's where we recently built 6 new homes for needy veterans. It's called Heroes Commons at Jefferson Park. And we built 24 homes since then, mortgage-free homes over the years in many different neighborhoods. And we have another project coming up with another 12 lots in Paramount. One last thing I'd like to say is I'm the secretary for the Central Florida Navy League. And the mission of the Navy League is to support the sea services, the Navy, Marines, Merchant Marine, and of course the Coast Guard. And just one of the many things that we do is we support 22 youth groups, which are Navy and Marine Junior ROTC and the Sea Cadets. And we provide them with all sorts of scholarships and things like that. And one of the biggest milestones that we have from the Central Florida Navy League was a completion of our Central Florida Lone Sailor Navy Memorial. And it has 2 heroic scale bronze statues and a 10-panel display of life, of what it was like when you were going through basic training back in the day. And it has all the way to what the Navy does here today. And just in case anybody didn't know, the Navy and other armed services have their contracts handled here in Central Florida. So billions, I'm talking billions upon billions of dollars comes through Central Florida. Not very many people know about that. But anyways, that's my story, and I'm going to stick to it.
Thank you for your service, of course. And I love the organization you were talking about. We participated before with Troy. It's just amazing what you all do. And there's so many ways. There's so many ways for people to get involved and support our veterans. And so when somebody says, well, I want to help them and I don't know how, I'm like, okay, here's 90 different things you could do. You just have to know what to do. So thank you, Bryan. All right, Roberto, you're in the middle. Tell us all about you.
Well, thank you for having me here, first and most. And I salute all my fellow veterans here in the panel and all those veterans in the communities. What can I say? I joined the Army when I was around 24 years old. I always wanted to join. My father served in the Air Force. I always wanted to join and give back to the country. So I did that while I was in college. Did some cool tours. I went to Germany. Did some support work for Special Forces and Rangers. So that was fun. And then I also finished in Puerto Rico as a reservist, which I loved it very much. And I think it was an awesome experience for me. It really made me, better as a man, as a person. And I'm very grateful for that opportunity.
And what do you do now?
Well, I'm currently a real estate agent with Compass, Florida. And I'm also a broker owner in Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands. I have my own company there as well.
Thank you for your service. I can't say that enough, and I hope you never get tired of people expressing that to you all, because when we say it, we mean it. Thank you. All right, Bryan Jacobs, you're down in the corner there. You're muted. You got to unmute you, and then you're gonna not say you're a realtor. So this is exciting.
It's looking like I'm going to be the only one in the room, or maybe not. We'll see what happens. So Bryan Jacobs, actually Navy Corpsman, Navy Doc. So happy birthday, Marine Corps! Shout out to yeah. Well, I was a Navy Doc for my 5 years with FMF. So I hate to say I went to boot camp with the FMSS, and then rest I was the Green Boys.
Devil Docs.
Yeah. So I spent 5 years with 2nd Line Reconnaissance Battalion as an operator. Did 2 combat tours into Iraq. I did initial push in 03, did my second push in 05. And after 05, playing the game of dodge 'em with the IEDs was, something you just you get tired of. You lost a lot of brothers and sisters over there. I was in all, it was just one of those things where you either go back third time to charm, and typically it's not the charm, and decided to get out in 05. My younger brother, also a Marine Corps veteran, was with 3-7 out in the stumps. My father served, all my grandfathers served, World War II, Vietnam, uncles, everybody. So just come from a long line of lineage. Tried to go into the Air Force, but he was out to lunch for 3 days. So I don't really understand how you get in the Air Force. I'm still trying to figure that out, so,
I love it.
But, long story short, I'm a chef now, and basically I take and kind of taken some darkness in my life and turned it into a positive. I lost my younger brother Memorial Day week in 2014 to veteran suicide. And we both really suffered coming back in 05, getting out. Both were homeless. Both really were self-medicating. We went through he went 03 with me. We did the push. He went 04, did a push. And we just came back different. What happened during this time is that basically food saved me. God put his hand in my life and said, what can I do? And, food chose me at a young age, but then it turned into something bigger when it was, I had all this background, got a master's from France in culinary, got plenty of schooling and education, but everything changed. It wasn't about restaurants. It was just about making a difference through what you love to do. So I started a nonprofit called Vets to Success. Basically take homeless displaced second chance veterans, and we train them as chefs, bakers, brewers, and even agriculturalists in more hydroponics and aquaponics. And we focus this primarily as a behavioral health and reintegration program where we change your life through a chef perspective of going, hey, as a chef, you have to see something for what it is, not for what it is, but what it can become. Most people go, I go, hey, what is this? You go, it's a lemon. I go, no, it's a sorbet. No, it's a sauce. No, it's a finish to a drink. We have to change the way we look at ourselves every day in order to progress as veterans. And these are type of things that we created through behavioral health and habit reintegration. We change our lives through taking them out of their bad places. We open them up to all these great opportunities, a bunch of community love, a bunch of community support. In 2020, February, I launched a business called Reveille Meals, which is a lifestyle meal service that we deliver to your front door every Sunday. So you can live your best life while living on the go, save you time, frustration of what am I going to eat next, and finding a healthy option for you to live optimistically within your life. Plus, as you subscribe, we hire those veterans who graduated from my program into this company. So now you make a difference just by eating. So the other side is hopefully, and I can't say this out loud, but I don't know because we're live, I'll get in trouble. But I've got an amazing girlfriend, and we're hoping to open another part of what we're doing with the business, which is a DNA perspective on food. So taking your DNA and doing custom meals based upon your food disposition. But the idea really behind it is, I tell many people in the nonprofit, I couldn't save my brother, but I can save many others. And we've saved 44. But now I want to take the fight to PTSD. I want to take the fight to cancer using food disposition based upon you and being able to realign your chemical balances, food balance, and really kind of start to fight diseases from a different perspective. She's a medical spa owner, does medical aesthetics, and I think we're on to something pretty big. So, but salute to all y'all. Thank you for your service, and I appreciate everything.
Thank you for your service. And I love that. DNA, I'm hoping it would say, Ted, you can have as much rice and carbs and pasta and bread as you can possibly eat.
Well, I'm going to say it like this. If that's what you're doing now and you're not seeing the results, I'm going to let you know there might be a change.
Fine. All right. I'll eat something green. Thank you, Bryan, so much.
No, thank you.
Ernie Plaza, what's up? Tell us about you.
Good afternoon. Bryan, thank you for that info. We got to get connected. Well, sure. Both Bryans actually, Bryan Jacobs and Bryan Warner, FAVOB, I know of you.
Yep, and I'm on FAVOB, Tampa, so shout out.
A lot of good organizations here, all for the same service for veterans. where can I start? I joined the military because I was living in New Jersey in the projects and did not want to end up in the streets and wanted to do something different. And somehow my recruiter said, hey, I could send you to do this. And he showed me a video of a guy holding a thing and going across. I said, that's what I want to do. I'm infantry. Not very smart. The recruiter didn't help me out with a nice tour somewhere. But it was something that really set in stone the foundations for everything I did in life without knowing it. I ended up being a drill sergeant unit and becoming a drill sergeant at an early age and just training everybody for it before they went over there. So I salute all of you that went over there and have done that sacrifice and have to deal with all that comes with it. I was more of a support trainer, educator, and, doing that part. Here in Orlando, I helped start the drill sergeant unit up here, and we developed, the Future Soldier program, a whole bunch of other stuff. I'm so excited in your story that I forgot mine. But basically, it's we're all together. We see all the different aspects of the veteran side. We're civilians doing things. My son's a Marine, my daughter's Air Force, and I'm Army. The other son just said, "No, I'm not gonna do this, that." He went entrepreneurial, so hey, we'll see what we could do that way. Let me see what I do in life. Say again?
What do you do here?
Well, what I do in life, I'm a realtor. Yeah, I said it right, Ted. See, I said it right.
You did it right. A realtor.
Yeah, realtor. I'm a realtor in the Central Florida area, and I'm also the president for VA Rep Central Florida. That's a nonprofit. We educate veterans on financing. We educate realtors in the area for all those great myths that are out there. Can you believe it? The WDO is still an issue. We educate them. We just had our great national conference online. We also do stuff for veterans. Like our chapter gave a house away in 2019 to a disabled veteran in Orlando. We were the catalyst for the year before that, someone in Georgia to receive a house mortgage free. And we do a lot of stuff for Stop, Drop, and Push. That's the 22. So it's for the alternative therapy. And actually, our chapter, we donated, I think it was like $800 for a Marn event that we were able to raise that money for Stop, Drop, and Push. So it's an organization that I'm fond of. I wear it everywhere. Look at this. It's just like Favob, Bryan Jacobs. I want to know more about your stuff. It's just how we help veterans in our own way, and I think it's our push, our drive. Someone just once told me, hey, just do what you love doing, and I came to realize it's veterans, so that's what I do.
Love it. Thank you for your service, Ernie. I still can't picture you as a drill sergeant. Never seen that side of you, so hopefully I never do.
It's on my Facebook. I look like I was 19. All right.
I love it. All right. Last but not least, Jose Belen. How are you?
Doing great, Ted. Thank you for hosting this, and salute to all the veterans on this call here on the panel. It's an honor to be here together with you guys. I myself, I'm a United States Army Field Artillery combat veteran. I enlisted in the U.S. Army right after high school, January 2002. By the spring of 2003, I was part of the spearhead into Iraq with the 1st Armored Division, 2nd Battalion, 3rd Field Artillery. I got to Iraq when I was 20 years old. I left when I was 22. I turned both 21 and 22 downrange. We knew we were going to be there for more than a year. Our orders were, very clear to secure Baghdad, but with that also look and hunt for Saddam. So while we were in theater, conducted a lot of urban operations, and with that, I lost my best friend and our lieutenant a few days before Christmas, December 22nd, 2003. It's an incident that has tormented me since that morning. I struggle to this day with survivor's guilt, like many veterans. I was fortunate, to survive those 2 consecutive tours. I was given the option to re-enlist and reclassify to Special Forces Ranger. I had Ernie, but I had a moment downrange, and I, promised God. I said, Lord, if you let me survive this deployment, I'm going to get out. I'm not going to stay in, and I'll do two things in this life. I will do, my best in any job. I will work until my hands bleed in any career. Please just do that. And number two, I will do good in this life. Unfortunately, I didn't know the struggles that awaited me when I came home. Discharged in 2005, did 3 years active duty, 02 to 05. And then I, was hit with the urging of my family to please go to the VA because I was different. I didn't understand what that meant. When you're combat arms, you do your job. You do not take timeouts downrange. It doesn't matter what happens in front of you. What you're a part of, you just move on. And unfortunately, witnessing the death of a child, to which me and two other soldiers closed her eyes, started to haunt me immediately coming home. I was put on my first round of pills at 23 and nearly killed myself a number of times since coming home. I immersed myself in my professional endeavors. I was a realtor myself from 2006 to 2007 in upstate New York, Scotia for Coldwell Banker. I'm very grateful for that. But something was lacking, in life. I struggled from then until about 2016, with bouts with suicide, depression, PTSD, not knowing how to handle my emotions. I was fortunate to be hired by AIG in 2007 as a bilingual insurance professional out of their Lake Mary office. I promised the hiring manager that if they gave me that opportunity, that I'd be their top seller one day. And as fate has it, from 2007 to February 2017, I was within the number 1% within direct insurance in the United States for farmers insurance. AIG sold us to farmers. I was making $20,000, $30,000 a month, had the Beamer, had the white picket fence, thing, but nearly took my life in that fight. And that's when I realized that over 8,000 veterans a year commit suicide. I'm fortunate to have the wife that I do to this day. We just celebrated 6 years together. In marriage, 10 years as a couple, but hasn't been easy for her. So in 2017, after some time away from the job, I realized that, money, like Bob Marley says, money can't buy life. It has nothing to do with that. I realized that there was something else out there, tying it back to what I promised God. And so with that, my wife and I started Mission Zero Actual. We're a small nonprofit that's dedicated to ending veteran suicide. We believe in not only giving, veterans, life again, but giving them reasons to live. Templating what I went through. I am very humbled to be here because anytime I have an opportunity to speak, I speak on behalf of those that I carry on my back that are invisible. So many veterans come home and look, complete, but folks don't realize that the war does not end on the battlefield. The war comes home with many of us, and a lot of us, unfortunately, can't fight off the demons. I was just made aware of a few veterans that we lost in the last 2 weeks. Honorable men, a man that, I don't want to say his name out of respect to his family, but became a firefighter after service. Multiple tours, always had a smile on his face, and we just lost. And, so I've given my life along with my wife to raising awareness of veteran suicide, doing whatever we can to get veterans to look in the mirror and say, you know what, I have PTSD. PTSD doesn't have me. Because when I was at that point of pulling that trigger, the only thing that pulled me from my faith in God and that inner strength, and I realized that a lot of these veterans that are at that ledge today, and brother, I'm sorry that you lost your brother, we don't want to die. That's what we don't want to go. The thing is, we feel like we're such a burden to those around us, but that couldn't be the furthest from the truth. So I aim to inspire every day veterans that are in that darkness, with veterans like yourselves to be a community leader and really apply that selfless service, not, doing anything for ill will, ill gain. Shout out to the Orlando Magic, Ted as well. A few years ago, called the Orlando Magic and said, hey, look, you have, about 80,000 veterans along the I-4 corridor alone. A lot of veterans are missing out on just a ball game. you're having a reaction, a PTSD moment, and y'all don't have a special area, why don't we work together and create a special veterans game or an event? And we did our Veterans Night Out with the Orlando Magic twice last year. We had, a private area for us to enjoy the game together. And right there, you had a $1 billion enterprise, stand up and say, you know what, we believe in raising awareness of veteran suicide, and we want to be a part of changing that. Beyond Mission Zero, on Memorial Day this year, I had a choice to drink a bottle of Jack like I traditionally end up doing every year almost, and crying in my sorrows, or saying, you know what, I'm going to face this day and do something. And so on Memorial Day this year, I called my best buddy, said, hey, would you help me make a wooden American flag in memory of my two guys that we lost down range and all the fallen. So on Memorial Day, I made a custom wooden flag. And when I painted that first red stripe, it brought me back to the incident down range, and a healing happened. And with that, I've gone on to start the Freedom Factory Flag Co., incorporated as a small LLC on June 30th in memory of my brothers and sisters. And what I've done with that, I make Gold Star family flags for families that have lost veterans across America at no cost to them. I build them all by hand, and I donate them. And this Veterans Day is extra special because I was able to deliver a flag to a father that lost his son, Marine Corps Lance Corporal Jeremy Lasher. So today is very special because this man has a Gold Star flag in his home built by a combat veteran in honor of his brothers and sisters. So I'm proud to say the Freedom Factory is here as a representation of the flag, but more so what the colors represent, and that's our heroes. So in that, I'm just a man on a mission and veteran suicide, and just humbled to be here. Just want all the veterans here and all y'all watching, be proud of yourselves today. This is our day. This is your day. You earned it. You earned your service. Everything you did was earned. It was not given to you, and be proud of yourself today. Be happy. As hard as it may be, enjoy the day. God bless.
I love it. You have one of your flags in the background, don't you?
Yeah, this is where I work. I have a few there.
I love it.
Got my little puppy. But yeah, this is so I spend my days, and I also mentor other veterans on how to build these as well. I open up the garage on weekends sometimes, and teach other veterans how to make them as well, and make it a joint process. And that's
Thank you. Thank you for your service too, Jose, and for all you do. It's funny, as I sit here, I listen to you all, and I think, God, why would I ever complain about anything? As a civilian, somebody who hasn't been in the military, when I hear the sacrifices that you all have made and the things that you have gone through, that's what motivates me to get more people involved, to get and reach out and find ways to support our veterans, because we don't know how to do it. A lot of us don't know what to do. We don't know what the right thing is to say. And I always encourage people, look, unless you're yelling at them and you're trying to do something good, it can't be wrong. So just at least try. But I think a lot of civilians don't understand how to make that leap and support. But you all have mentioned organizations that you started or belong to. There are so many ways for us to get involved and support you guys, which is why I do these kinds of shows, because I have people reach out to me all year long. Ted, I don't know what to do. Is there a place I can cut a check to the VA? No. There are a million other things I really want you to do, and that is not one of them. So you all sharing your stories, it's inspiring and motivating, and it really is humbling what you all have accomplished and what you do in our communities and continue to do in our communities. It's also good to have all your faces on here. I love each and every one of you and what you do. For me and your friendships, it's just so important. But I love having you on here so people go, I'm not messing with any of those people ever again, now that I know what they've been through and the service that you brought to our country. So thank you for being on the show. We went way over, but I knew we would. Anybody have any last parting words of wisdom on Veterans Day that you want to give shout outs? I'll give each of you a second or two to tell us. We'll start up at the bottom with Eileen. Please tell us.
I just want to say thank you to everyone who was on this call today. And you all do such amazing work. It's incredible. And I'm honored just to be on this call with all of you today. And again, just giving a shout out to everyone who's out there, who's watching this and that we come in contact with today, that's a veteran, and remind other people, definitely thank a vet. I think some people don't realize, and it would be wonderful if they all listened to some of the stories that we just heard today. So I applaud all of you. Thank you.
And Ernie Plaza, how about you?
Again, thank you for all of you right here in this panel. You're together. We tackle all aspects of something when it comes to veterans. I would love for us to meet again at another basketball, Ed, hook it up, or just an event where we all could come together. But for the civilians out there, just don't think of us on one day. When you're out on the street and someone is stressing, or you see somebody just not being right, think outside of yourself before reacting. And I say that for everybody. Jose, you touched me. Thank you, brother, for that great story. It's come together as a United States, as a nation, and take care of your veterans, and not just for one day. Always think of us, because everybody has some part in some way to make things happen.
Yes, thank you. Bonnie, how about you?
Well, I really appreciate having everybody together like this. It's interesting because veterans do tend to maybe share war stories and things when they get together that you don't normally talk about. In fact, I don't think I've had any conversations with people about what I did in the military, what I saw, being a war veteran. You just don't have those conversations with civilians because it's hard to explain, and there's a lot behind it. But I almost felt like we were sitting in sitting around having coffee or whatever your favorite cocktail is, while we were talking today. And I really appreciate getting everybody together. And yeah, there's more unsaid in the life of a veteran than there is said. And I appreciate all the volunteering and the things that people do, because it's humbling, and I'd like to help out in any way I can as well. So I appreciate you getting everybody together.
Thank you. Bryan Warner, how about you?
I found, first of all, I have a tremendous amount of respect for those that have had a career in the military. Veterans can be referred to people that just served a day or a month or a year, or as long as they went to basic training, completed their duties, and maybe made it to their first place. You're considered a veteran. But what I want to say here is that there's a tremendous amount of people out there that get lost when they come out of the military. Everybody here, if you can, make sure that you let them know that you're there for them, because there are resources that come out of the foundation, and there is an emergency 911. It's not 911. Does anybody know what that number is?
211
for the veterans to dial.
211.
211. That's the veterans crisis number. You dial that for housing. Any issues a veteran could have, dial that number, and they put you in touch with somebody that can help. But I've helped myself. I myself have helped people transition, and it's not an easy thing to do. So make sure you're there for your brothers and sisters.
Amen. Jose Belen.
Just echoing what the brother just stated. At the end of the day, we don't walk around with our service on our shoulders. It's very sacred to us. Most important thing that we can do is be there for each other. I say this all the time. If Floyd, you understand, we have our sick brain. It comes down to we do what we got to do for each other down there, and we need to have that mindset here. A lot of us are in that fight every day. and those of us who are in a position of leadership right now, or progressiveness, we need to pick up our brothers and sisters who aren't there yet, lead each other.
Amen. Bryan Jacobs.
Yeah, again, Ted, first hats off to you for, taking the time. And I mean, you've probably met everybody before, but one of the biggest things is spreading those messages that really matter. Good news doesn't travel as fast in this country as it used to. It seems like bad news is the biggest thing we hear. So it's always great to be around like-minded individuals who just want to spread good things. And so really hats off to you for this. Hats off to everybody out there who's taking their time and just doing what they love. And, basically what I've learned as trying to come back to the other side of the world is, we chose service for a reason, because, God put that in our heart to serve. The greatest thing you can do on this side of the world is to find that purpose again, to serve again. I tell you, the greatest thing I've ever done is decide to do what I love and serve people who I love too. It's changed just the way I look at life, and it's just changed the way I love myself. Which is a hard thing that every veteran struggles with every day. So, but I definitely, again, I'm a bigger, better together approach. I really think that's how we're going to win any war we're in, trying to, combat homelessness, PTSD, any project. It's not going to be, as we all know, one person's, it's one team, one fight. And, I definitely would love to connect with everybody. We're making our way to Tampa right now. We'll be in Orlando next. With the nonprofit, hopefully, and changing lives through food. So appreciate you all. Ted, again, thank you so much.
Well, I want to say thank you for the opportunity to be in this panel. It's an honor to share with other veterans as myself. I just want to say, identify those veterans and say, thank you. Because behind every veteran, there's a unique story to it. They might be going through a mental health issue. They might be going through any type of problems. They might be laughing and smiling, but deep down inside, they might be struggling with something very deep. And a simple thank you, appreciation, hello, great day, stay strong will make a difference.
Thank you. All right, Ricky. Richter.
I just want to say that, don't be discouraged if everybody can reach out to veterans and everybody can extend that helping hand, and they but don't be discouraged if that veteran doesn't want the help, doesn't want anything to do with you, because that's how I was when I got back. Coming from my background, I really didn't want to talk to anybody, and I didn't want any help, and I didn't want to do anything with anyone. So the thing that helped with me was just consistency, and then eventually jiu-jitsu took over, and that's what brought me out of the hole. And so I try to tell as many civilians as I can that, and other vets, some combat vets don't want help. They don't want to be talked to. They do, but they don't. And it's a touchy situation, but don't be discouraged and just keep, be tenacious. And if it's somebody that's personal and close to you, don't ever stop trying, because eventually there's going to come a time where there's a breaking point, and you may be the only person that's there to keep them from that. So that's all I got.
Right on, brother.
Thank you. All right. So, you guys, amazing. Thank you for being on. I love each and respect, and I'm honored by our friendships. I love each and every one of you. Thank you for your service. Thank you for coming on and sharing. It's so important for the sharing part, because I think when people hear it from you and you all from the heart, it just adds that layer of, gosh, I really do want to get involved. I really do want to be thankful for their service. So to all of you, God bless you. Thank you so much. I love each and every one of you. And do we say Happy Veterans Day? I'm never quite sure what you're supposed to say, but let's celebrate the Veterans Day. You just never know, right?
Right. It's like Happy Memorial Day.
When people say Happy Memorial Day, I know that's wrong. But yeah. But anyway, thank you all, Ricky, Bryan, Ernie, Roberto, Bonnie, Eileen, Bryan, and Jose. Thank you guys so much for being on the show.
Thanks for having us.
All right, guys.
See you.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. Bye-bye.